A forgotten masterpiece with a powerful message. Some people live loudly, demanding the world's attention. Others live in the shadows, hiding their brilliance as if it were something to be ashamed of. Finding Forrester is a story about two people who would rather be invisible.
You ever go outside to do any of this?
Until they find in each other a reason to be seen.
You're the man now, dog.
Hello, my name is Kevin Harris, and I help people understand themselves by helping them understand the stories that resonate with them.
What's it feel like?
What?
Writing something the way you did.
Perhaps you'll find out.
You know, I spent years thinking about starting this channel, but I was so worried about what other people might think or say that I silenced myself out of fear. Until my need to express myself finally outweighed my worry and fear about what other people might think. Jamal Wallace is a gifted writer and student.
It is a melancholy truth that even
great men have poor relations. Dickens.
But in his world, intelligence isn't what earns you respect, so he hides it. He plays basketball, blends in. Then there's William Forrester, a reclusive literary legend.
I'm that one.
Who vanished from the public eye decades ago. He watches the world through his apartment window, unseen and unknown. The neighborhood kids call him the Window and make up stories about him.
Yo, you ever seen him?
The Window?
Yeah.
Nah, but you see us, man.
Jamal's life is a balancing act. At his public school, he downplays his intelligence to avoid standing out.
Jamal, how about it?
Nah, I never read it.
At his new elite prep school, he's seen as an outsider.
God, he's a basketball player from the Bronx.
Too athletic to be taken seriously. He doesn't fully belong in either world.
Yeah, but these people don't think I got anything to give them either.
Forrester, on the other hand, once belonged to the world of literature.
We have 24 copies, but I'm sorry, they're checked out.
But after his first novel became a masterpiece, he disappeared.
When the critics started all this bullshit about what it was I was really trying to say, well, I decided then, one book was enough.
The loss of his brother shattered him, and rather than facing his grief, he locked himself away. He wrote for himself and no one else.
Whatever we write in this apartment stays in this apartment.
His words, his genius, hidden, just like Jamal's.
Birds of a feather for 600.
It's fitting that the kids call Forrester the Window. He seems to be obsessed with his, hiding in his apartment, always watching people with his binoculars or videoing birds.
And I do go outside. How do you think those windows get cleaned?
Windows, much like relationships, go both ways. And for many years, Forrester has been trying to keep his going only one way, out. But whether he likes it or not, William Forrester is about to be forced to look deep within himself. Enter Jamal. At first, their relationship is reluctant, suspicious.
You don't know what to do right now, do you? If you tell me what you really want to tell me, I might not read any more of this.
But as Jamal learns from Forrester, Forrester starts to see his own reflection in the kid. And slowly he lets Jamal in, sharing pieces of his past, his regrets, his grief.
My brother and I, we were here for every game. Till he left for the war.
When Forrester finally opens up about his brother's death,
I just stood there and watched him drive off.
we see how much time completely stopped for him.
My brother's getting cold in the next room, and all she can talk about is a book.
He kind of died along with his brother that day. But now, in guiding Jamal, he's finally beginning to live again. And in return, Jamal does something just as important. He doesn't just bring light into Forrester's world. He forces him to step out into it. Throughout the film, there's this underlying question. When do we stay quiet, and when do we speak up?
Just so you know, you handled that the right way.
How's that?
We didn't say anything. It's the ones that do that run into trouble.
Most people don't speak up or defend themselves.
But if you let me run you down with this racist bullshit, what does that make you?
Forrester chose silence. He let the world move on without him, believing he had nothing more to say. But Jamal, he's different. He's caught in a world that underestimates him, judges him before they even know him. He could stay quiet, make life easier for himself, but at what cost? The climax of the film gives us the answer when Jamal is accused of plagiarism.
Jamal, either you happen to have the permission of William Forrester, or have you some other explanation?
He has a choice. Does he accept the injustice and stay silent, or does he fight for his own voice? It's made worse because he promised not to tell anyone about knowing Forrester.
A friend who had the integrity to protect me when I was unwilling to protect him.
And just when it matters most, Forrester does the one thing he's been avoiding for decades. He steps into the world and speaks.
May I read a few words?
And the man who spent his life hiding finally lets his voice be heard, speaking the words of Jamal.
Losing family obliges us to find our family. Not always the family that is our blood, but the family that can become our blood.
And in doing so, he repays Jamal for what he's given him, a reason to live again.
I realized that the one wish that was granted to me so late in life was the gift of friendship.
When Forrester passes, he leaves Jamal his apartment, which includes the window, both literally and symbolically. One of my favorite quotes is, "A good window does not call attention to itself. It merely lets in the light." Dale Carnegie. Jamal now inherits the responsibility of keeping it clean, of letting the light shine through. Forrester, once the teacher, learned from his student, and now the student has become the teacher. Finding Forrester is a story about talent, about belonging, about the risks of hiding who you are, but at its heart, it's a story about the power of letting yourself be seen. Jamal and Forrester found something in each other that neither of them had, proof that they weren't alone in their brilliance or their struggles. When I posted my first video, I was petrified. I waited for commenters to rip it to shreds, to tell me what I already suspected, that my words had nothing of value, that I was stupid, and that I was dumb for even trying to enter into this world, that I didn't belong. And sure, you always get some of that, but you also get people who are grateful for what you posted, who are really moved and touched by some words that you shared. People said that my words changed them, that I saved their marriage, or in one instance, that I even saved a life, that someone didn't kill themselves because of something that I shared in a video. I realized that I didn't need to appeal to the masses. I only needed to appeal to the one or two people who needed my words. And maybe that's the real moral here. Genius, talent, whatever you want to call it, none of it matters if you lock it away. The world doesn't need more people hiding behind windows. It needs people who let their light shine, even if that light only reaches one other person. So maybe we shouldn't worry about whether we're going to upset some people or get criticized. Maybe we should worry that by staying silent, we aren't going to reach somebody who desperately needs our words.
Seasons change, young man. And while I may have waited until the winter of my life to see the things I've seen this past year, there is no doubt I would have waited too long had it not been for you.
And that is the moral of the story. Thank you very much for watching. I appreciate your support and for subscribing. Thanks again. We'll see you next time.